Hello everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. I think you can see my camera and I will start right now this webinar about how to grow your webinar attendance with LinkedIn automation. The first thing is about me. My name is Arthur and I co-founded a software called ColdInbox to send automated LinkedIn message. I used to work as a growth marketer at Open Learning. So it's like a startup in like a learning management system, a startup in education. And I arrived in Sydney in March 2019. And I used to study IT and I'm born and raised in France. So during this webinar, we will talk about how to set up your automated webinar funnel. And you will see a live demo of our software ColdInbox to send automated LinkedIn message. And then I will tell you about my services and I will answer your question. Yeah. So first, why webinars are interesting? What's make a webinar interesting today is that you can build trust with your prospect. Your prospect will see you talking in real life, so you will build trust with them and you will humanize the sales prospect, like it's a human to human. You will also be recognized as an expert in your field, so they will directly understand who you are and what you are doing, and you can give more explanation about your different services. Also, like one thing that is really interesting is that you can sell without selling hard. It means that basically people can attend your webinar, but they don't need to interact with you. So you can directly tell about your services and you are not too aggressive when you are trying to sell your services. And the last thing is that you can reach a wider audience. Before, you used to sell your services or your product to one person. Now you can reach 10 people at the same time. So yeah, like you spend less time to reach more people. But there is some disadvantage of hosting webinar. Like the first one is like technical difficulty. Like first, it takes time to set up your webinar. So people need to get a ticket. After that, they need to come to the Zoom session. So there is a lot of steps to set up, and sometimes one of the steps can have an issue, and there is some bug, and you can basically fail your webinar. The second disadvantage of hosting a webinar is that it's time consuming to set up the webinar. You have to set up the page where people get their ticket. You need to set up the webinar like what I'm doing now. You need to set up the email reminder to make sure that people are coming, and everything, all of the steps take times. And after that, you need to invite the people to the webinar. So that's the most time consuming part. Basically, you need to send one by one an invitation, message after message to people who want to come to your webinar. So it takes a lot of time to invite your contact to the webinar. And there is an alternative, is that you are using some paid advertising to promote your own webinar. And paid advertising is quite expensive. And the other thing is that the interaction with your audience is limited, but at the end you reach more people. What we can propose is to solve all of this problem, because we are doing a webinar, like we are setting up a webinar that you can use and reuse with the time, and you don't have the cost of promotion because it's automated. Basically, what we want to do is to put your webinar funnel on autopilot, and you can focus on your own expertise. So for example, if you are a business owner, if you are a consultant, then you should focus on what you are doing. For example, if you are a consultant in leadership, you should focus on your skills, on what you want to develop. You shouldn't focus on the marketing part to set up a webinar. So basically, we are using different tools to set up an automated webinar funnel. The first thing is ColdInbox, our own software to send automated LinkedIn message. Like the goal is that instead of sending message one by one on LinkedIn to your target audience, you use the software that will send 1,000 messages to all the CEOs in Sydney, for example, to invite them to the webinar. After that, we use Eventbrite. So it's where people get their ticket for the webinar. And we will, once people get their ticket for the webinar, we need to get their information into the email marketing system. Because if you just set up an Eventbrite page and people just get their ticket, then they will forget about your webinar. And it's really important to stay in the mind of your prospects. So you need to send every day a message, an email to remind people to come to the webinar. And to do that, we are using a tool called Zapier to connect Eventbrite with Sendinfo. After you are doing your webinar, so it's what I'm doing now. And after that, we have another email sequence to follow up with your leads, because most of the people who are using webinar, who are doing webinar at the moment, they just do the webinar and they stop, and then they stop. You need to follow up with your leads to make them purchase your services or your product. And after, you can use Calendly to do a one-on-one demo session. So first, the tool ColdInbox. So basically, what you need to do is to drive traffic to your webinar funnel. To do that, we are using a tool called ColdInbox. You can target your audience on LinkedIn. For example, if you are a consultant, maybe you need to target all the business owner or all the director, and then you can do that directly on LinkedIn. You can write a message and send it to all of the CEOs at the same time. So you don't need to spend time to write LinkedIn message one by one. So basically, you send a message to a list of people. You can personalize with first name. So you write your template, hey, first name, and people will receive hello, the name of your prospect. And I will show you quickly how to use this tool. So for example, if you go in CEO, let's say I'm looking for all the CEOs in Sydney. So I will go in second, yeah, and I will choose a different city, maybe New York. Okay, so I want to reach all the CEOs in New York that I have in my second network. What I can do is I can go on ColdInbox. So this is the website, and I can download a Chrome extension that I will install on my computer. So after that, once it's installed, I will write, hi, first name, we are hosting a webinar next week. Would you like to join as my guest? Let me know and I will send you an invite. So you write your message here on ColdInbox and you click on send now. And what will happen is that automatically, so I don't touch my screen, we will send an automated message to all of the CEOs in New York. And you can specify in an industry too. So as you can see, Yaron will receive an invitation. And after that, Albert will receive an invitation too. Pierre will receive an invitation, and Mark too. So basically, ColdInbox is running like this. And you can do something else. So for example, you can work on your slide, on your presentation, and you can supervise your campaign here. So I will just show you for the next profile for Albert, and you will see how it works. So for example, here, Albert, the CEO of AtNate, will receive the message. Hello, Albert. We are hosting a webinar next week. Would you like to join as my guest? And like basically, people used to send LinkedIn message one by one before, but with our solution, we can send message to much more people than before. So after that, once you have uh, send the message to all the people, you can set up your Eventbrite page. So we recommend usually to use Eventbrite because everyone know Eventbrite. So it's much more easy to understand how to get your ticket than a dedicated landing page that you could have on your website. So Eventbrite, we are using it to set up the ticket page. It's free to use and it's simple, so it's really easy. And the things that we are doing usually is that we put a price on our webinar. So we usually put it at $50 and we get a 100% discount code to the people to make them sure that they understand that this webinar is valuable. So we give the promo code to the people, and after that, they can put the promo code of 100% directly on Eventbrite to get their ticket for free, of course. After that, we need to connect Eventbrite with Zapier and with our email marketing system. So the thing is, like, people get their ticket on Eventbrite. So they will give their first name, their last name, their email address, and their phone number. But what you want is to store this data directly in your email marketing system tool. We are using Sendinblue to do that. But to connect Eventbrite with Sendinblue, you need a small connector, and this connector is Zapier. All of these tools are free, so you don't have to pay for anything. That's the good thing about it. And after that, we will send an email sequence to all of the people that is automated to remember them to come to the webinar. It's really important to stay in the mind of your prospect, because if you just give them, if they just sign up for a ticket for your webinar, they will forget about it because we receive too much information during a day and during a week. So you really need to send a lot of email reminder, and we create an automated sequence with one email 6 days before, 5 days before, 2 days before, 1 day before the day, and 5 minutes before the webinar, when the webinar starts. So you all receive my email sequence because basically you sign up on Eventbrite, and then you went to my email marketing system, and I started an automated sequence to remember people to come. And as you can see, like I sell around 35 tickets on Eventbrite, and today we are 11. So you will lose 2/3 of your audience even with a sequence. After that, you will do the live stream on Zoom. So it's what I'm currently doing, and I show you how to use ColdInbox to send automated LinkedIn message and how you can set up all your webinar, your automated webinar. And after, we have another sequence. So this, you will receive it after the webinar. Like, the goal is to follow up with the leads and understand if the leads are interested or not to purchase your product or your services. So after the webinar, we ask the feedback. So we will ask, what do you think about this webinar? How could we improve this webinar? Would you like to use our product? Would you like to purchase our product? You can ask a lot of questions like this. And basically, it's an email. People click on it and they land on a form. So we are using JotForm to do that, but you can use Google Form or whatever you want. And after that, we have a recording. 24 hours later, we will send a recording of the webinar and the slide. So currently, the recording, it's a pre-recording. So it's not this webinar, but a session that I did like for maybe 1 month ago, at least I don't have to prepare it every time. So you will receive the webinar and the slide, because at the moment we are 11 people right now, but 35 people have took a ticket. So it's mean like 20 people didn't attend the webinar. So if they get the slide and if they get the recording, then they can watch it and understand my product, my services, and we can build the relationships with that. After that, 48 hours later, I will invite you to a demo session. So if you feel interested by the webinar, or if you feel interested by the content, you want to learn more about the webinar, basically you will be able to come to a demo session and we will see how we can implement our services for your business. So it's more like personalized. And after that, 72 hours later, we send a promo code. So basically, it's a 50% promo code to really push the people to purchase our services. So on Sendinblue is the email marketing system that we are using. An automated sequence look like this. So basically, you are into a list. So the list is webinar, how to grow your webinar attendance. After we send the first email, we wait for 1 day. We send another email, we wait for 1 day. It's always like this. It's an automated sequence. It's quite easy to set up. And after, people can book a demo session directly on Calendly. So this is where you will have the demo session with them, and you need to show them how they can use your services or your product for their business. So it's more personalized, as I say. So in general, like, thanks to this method, most of our events are full. Like we can sell like at least like 30 tickets, and so at the moment we are sending automated message from one account, but for specific company, we have like 5 or 6 people to send automated message, and we can easily get 60 or 70 participants per event. And usually what I do to set up all your webinar funnel and to make sure that you have at least 35 participants, so it includes the setup of the webinar plus the LinkedIn message. I charge $1,250 and it's set up in 1 week. But if you just want to use, if you already know how to set up your webinar and you are super happy with that, but you're only like the only things that you want to improve is to get more attendees, then you can use ColdInbox. So like the software that I show you to send the automated message. For this, we have 3 plans. We have one at $25 per month, one at $45 per month, and one at $85 per month to send this number of automated message. So with the promo code, you can use you can get 50% off on all our plan. So it's CLI guest. And now I can answer your question. So do you have any question that you would like to ask me about this automated webinar or LinkedIn automation, this tool? So if you have any question, you can tell me directly in the group chat, or you can just unmute your mic and tell me what do you think.
Arthur, I have a question for you. My name is Kylie.
Yeah.
Arthur, I know that LinkedIn has limits. I have a professional account on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it gives me access to a whole bunch of things that, a free LinkedIn account doesn't actually provide. But I understand that LinkedIn has limits on how many people that you can reply, how many people you can send messages to, puts limits on that. And then also puts limits on your ability to recontact them if they're, if they don't respond, because that builds your credits back up. So does your software, are you saying that your software gets around that aspect of it?
So usually we are at usually people can send around 100 to 100 message per day, because the software is only running when your computer is open. And on top of that, we are doing a sleep of 30 seconds between two messages and 15 minutes between 10 message. So we are making sure to don't send too much message at the same time. It's really important. And so to answer the first question is this: we send around 150 message per day if your computer is open. And the second question is, we connect with people who are outside of your network. So basically, they don't receive a message, as you say, they receive an invitation, plus we personalize the invitation. So yes, like basically once they receive an invitation, you can't reach them twice if you don't delete the invitation. So what you need to do, if you really want to send another message to someone, you need to go in My Network, Manage Invitation, Send. And here I can see all the message that I send to the people. So here, for example, I see that I send a lot of message and I can delete my invitation. So I will just show you. So for example, here, so I go on the bet profile. My invitation is pending now. So if I delete the invitation, I can connect again.
Okay.
Yeah. So that solves the problem in this way. Like there is a question of Byron. He say, is there can we just take it one? So it's a subscription base. So basically you can like there is no engagement on our software. So basically, if you want to subscribe for 1 month and say I want to cancel after this month, we can. Yeah. So it's possible. You can just take 1 month and cancel your subscription after that. So do you have other question? Like feel free to ask question about the software or about the automated LinkedIn message. Yeah. So we created this software basically like 6 months, or 8 months ago, and it's quite useful. And yes, it's in US dollar, because we have like a customer like in Europe, but also in United States. So we are not limited to Australia only. So yeah. So I think we are good because I don't see other question. So it's mean it was quite clear. Maybe I will just wait until like 30 seconds before the end of this webinar. And thank you everyone for coming. It was really nice to show what we are doing and our software. And if you have questions, you can directly ask me on LinkedIn or everywhere you want, on Facebook or on my email too. So thank you everyone for joining. Bye.